For Libya. It's going to be there for 30 or 40 minutes.
Well, it might add a little bit.
So it gets, we should be going before it gets started. They said if they
Well, at least, you know, she won't be able to hear that. She won't be able to hear that. Yes. Hi. Hi. My mom, you can't see her. This is Paul.
Oh yeah?
Hi.
Let's go. I recognize it from somewhere. I'm not sure where. Going out.
Yeah, she's been to events, not here.
Okay. based in the city?
No, we're living in Dunne.
Guilty. I was here then, but I wasn't involved in the poetry scene there. Whatever. That there were lines I was reading and writing it, but I thought poetry day. And I was here together, put together. I went out to South Africa for 7 years. I ran poetry there. In the 90s,
And like, I guess I got a poetry day. Yeah. When did you come back?
The last time I was in 2005. I mean, it's got many parts here. And so, yeah, the sack of them. So you bought 2 books? NBA, South Africa, and here. We were back and forth. There was a school there. And in South Africa as well. I know this. And in South Africa we had Christian brothers working more.
You can't get away from this. No. Yeah, what I say? Hello everyone, welcome to Culture Night 2023. We are very glad you've chosen to spend some time with us here this evening. You're very welcome to the 689th Ovale. Ovale is usually on the second Monday of every month, but like Christmas, Culture Night comes once a year and Ovale changes to a Friday night. So we're all here to witness that in real life this evening. So Ovale has 4 parts. The first part was the poetry films that you may have seen there. The second part is the 5-word challenge, which I will explain momentarily. The third part, we have 2 very wonderful guest poets, Qarre and Dunne. Leon is here with us, IRL, and Qarre will be zooming in from North Carolina, so very exciting. And then the last part is the open mic, where you are invited to come and read some of your own poetry, or poetry by somebody else, if you wish. We are also live on the internet, as that is the modern world, so there might be some people joining us from elsewhere in the world also. Okay, so the evening is the 5 word challenge, and how that works is you, lovely audience members, are going to give 5 words. Just shout out 5 words, and you then have 15 minutes to write a poem about said 5 words. Tonight is exciting because when you're saying the words, you will be backed by a full brass band, which is a rare and unique opportunity. So you can use that in your poems if you so wish. So if I could have the first word, s'il vous plaît.
Culture.
Culture. Where did you get that word from? Lovely. Thank you. Another word?
Toaster.
Toaster. Lovely. A third word, please. Any word you're dying to shout a word. I can see it in your face. Any you? Career? Lovely. Career. Moon? Lovely. Got a great cheer there, Cedric. And the fifth word, please. Brass? Lovely.
Brass or brass?
Brass.
With a B.
Yes. So the words are culture, toaster, career, moon, and brass. Like brass band. I have some paper here and I can give you some pens. If anybody wants them, I will go around with them. So to review, the 5 words are culture, toaster, career, moon, and brass. And you now have 15 minutes to write a poem, and you can come and read it if you like. We'd encourage you to do that. Huh? Maybe more than 15, because these things take time. True brilliance. Is there anybody on the internet? Hello, Massimo. Okay. So.
Hello.
Hi. Did you get the 5 words?
I did. Thank you so much.
Great. Okay, cool. I'll go give out paper if anybody wants them. You want paper? Do you have a pen? Is there pen?
Oh, it's lime, fresh lime, yeah.
Okay. No problem. Yeah, great. I forgot to say, which is very important, there are also prizes for whoever gets the biggest cheer. So there's a nice incentive.
Mine is basic. He's over the sea. Right. Oh, good. I did the same. I did the same. I wrote it. Firm it up, yeah.
It's great when you many times about that program.
It's great, isn't it?
I won't say anything.
There's a story behind it. You know where it's
So we'll have a couple of minutes more.
Oh, right, okay. Was she friends with my sister? No, she was very. Oh, brilliant. And she published a lot of poetry, but she found this medium far more poetic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I hope that inspired you, those 5 words. The how this challenge works is you are invited to come and read your poem that you wrote with the 5 words in it. We have a very sophisticated method of calculating who wins the challenge, and how we do that is whoever gets the loudest clap, hoot, holler, etc. when performing. So if you like what you hear, if you like somebody's poem, give them a big old clap, scream, ah! And that's how we'll find out who wins. And the winner gets an Ovale hat, which is some limited edition merch, you know, very highly coveted stuff. A t-shirt modeled by me, but a different one, not this one. And some not notebooks, poetry books by some wonderful poets. So, without further ado, I will open up the microphone. If I don't know you, or you don't know me, you might just tell me your name so I can get your name. And yeah, so the microphone is open. JJF.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, thanks for making it. Thanks. Appreciate that. I told my parents, have no fear, because I have a career. I'm a spoken word poet. My words will eventually lead to a fat bank account and overflowing glasses of French Moet. Before you ask, it's because I'm a bragger and a boaster, a late night toaster, a man of culture who will swoon and be over the moon when I find my next wife with a vast intellect and a body like a Greek sculpture. I'll keep rhyming, my mind shining like a diamond. I'll make enough money to buy my own private island. And it will come to pass that all of my awards will be cast in gold, silver, and bronze, and never brass.
Great. Thanks, JJF. I hope that comes true for all spoken word poets. Massimo is next. Massimo is joining us from Zoom.
Hello, everyone. Can you see me and hear me okay?
Woo!
Oh, wonderful. Glad to hear it. So this piece is called Observations. Part 1, The Moon. I was a full-grown adult before I realized that the light of the moon is just a reflection of sunlight, made visible by the absence of the sun's glare. Meaning, I spent most of my life believing that the moon cast its own light. Part 2, Career. There's a meme that my cousin has on his social media profile. It says something like, the idea of a work week where I work 5 days to be able to afford to have 2 days to myself just doesn't sit right with me. I am not career-minded, but that doesn't mean I'm not dedicated. It's just that I'm so passionate at what I do that after a while, I can't help but do it on a professional level. Part 3, culture. There is no such thing as a people or a place without culture. Whether it's a suburb with chain stores or a colonized island, whatever people do to live together as themselves, whether through sacred rituals passed down or just convenient customs recently begun, whether consciously or unconsciously, whatever they do can be considered a culture that is unique to this specific collection of people. Part 4, brass. I've heard people who call themselves Black say that Jesus was Black. I've heard people who call themselves white say Jesus was white. But in the Bible, it says that his hair was like wool and his feet the color of brass. Plus, it was in the Middle East. So how can people argue that he wasn't Arab is beyond me. Part 5. Don't use your knife to touch your bread until you take it out of the toaster. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much, Massimo. And that is a very important tip at the end. Cool. Thanks. Who's next?
Lucy.
Lucy? Great. Woo.
Okay, it's going to be short. Pop goes the toaster. The moon is round as a coaster. It's time to go get some culture. A crowd full of cheer. The musicians have a great career. A brass band, a fusion without fear. That's it.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Woo. Philip Spillane.
Brass moon. The moon was as brass as toast, crisp from a toaster. The night sky scorched like dreams or careers. Just we, imagining a culture of stars, with empty spaces between, but we can't see anything, to a shield of light pollution, casting all in an umbrella of shadow, all except the brass moon. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Philip. Next up is Mary Rose.
Thank you. This is extremely short. Toaster is culture. Culture is career. Career is brass. Brass is how you get the moon.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Who's coming up next?
I'll go.
Yeah, great. Woo. What's your name?
Clodagh, yeah. Hi. Thanks. My venture with 5 words. I felt like I needed a change in career, a push out the door, a kick in the rear. I thought to myself, go on, culture vulture. From Cork, like express butcher. Considered I got gold, a diamond in the grass, but mediocrity tinged it and dampened it brass. I explored and I ventured, went to the moon, went to space, and quietly realised tonight wasn't my race. 'Twas toaster, too tough. It threw me askew. All the same, I enjoyed 5 words, if nothing but new.
Thank you very much, Clodagh. Cedric?
Raise your glass, get the brass out, let it roar. Warm your voices like toaster does bread. Let the moon light shine in your heart. Soon it will be time to sing encore and encore. Celebrate our lives together. For culture is no career, it is spirit being bred, shared and refined, raised to the loudest cheers, a distilled experience summarized in the drip of a poem written in a spur.
Thank you very much, Cedric. Who's gonna come up next? Yeah, cool. Is it Danny? Oh, yay!
Does that work? Oh, we're all up. Nice. Cool. This one's this one has a title. It's called Audience Participation. I don't know if you're ready. Distant as a floating vulture, circling downward, night of culture. You! Drink that pint on that coaster, then nurse your hangover with the toaster. Echoing.
Echoing.
Brass.
Brass.
Yeah. From my eye there rolls a tear, working hard on my career. Nice. O Vale de Gnaw, Aaron Lewin, Igoni a shot on Shaw, Ikuga, Moon.
Thanks very much. Great stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention in the prizes that one of the prizes is a free drink from the bar. So if you win, you'll have to share the drink. Great stuff. Any other takers? Anybody else? Yeah? Any other 5 words, folks? No?
Yes, I'll go. I can go.
Okay, cool.
That's Brian online.
Okay, great. Brian? Great.
It is not uncommon me to have to finagle a piece of bread too short for the toaster from the toaster. I never get burned, though I always worry I will. I could make a career on not being well cultured, writing poems about brass knuckles. Yet when I mentioned brass knuckles in a poem, I was informed by an elder poet that my metaphor was profound. I prefer my culture to happen in yogurt.
Thank you very much, Brian. Great.
I have something.
Very good. What's your name?
Sushi like the food. Again, it's sushi like the food. So this, after a beautiful evening of great poetry, will be the worst poem you've heard ever. That's what I was going for. I just came in and I realized that the 5-word thing is over. So, this is the worst poem you'll ever hear. Hungry for some bread, I run to my toaster. Have to run to work, for I have a career. I wish there wasn't a drinking culture. The drinks flowed till the moon was out. I don't have a rhyme for the last one. The music I'm hearing is the brass one. Thanks so much. Apologies.
No. Don't apologize. That's class. Yes. Great. Anybody else? Yeah, great. What's your name? Lucas. Oh, yeah.
You know what? According to expectations, we are supposed to shine as bright as brass, and not let our ideas too long in the toaster, because they'll burn and go old and cold. And it is beyond culture the fact that we are supposed to fit a mold, a template. But some others have their minds set on the moon of Valentia. Just unlike my peers. I don't speak, I spit words without a degree or career. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucas. Great. Anybody else? Yes.
Two disclaimers. First one is I thought I was being real smart saying brass moon. Turns out a lot of people have seen that. I'm also not the only person to rhyme toaster with coaster. And as a third one, I also ripped off Billy Joel in the last line just to let you know. So just bear with me. Oh, what a wonderful night. One packed with culture and light. A brass moon shimmers. As I ponder career choices while the street heaves with noises and pints of plain become paired with coasters like toast to a toaster. Oh Cork, you have me feeling all right.
Nice. Very good. You might swear sometimes to get Dublin people saying converting to Cork as you might by the end of the night start saying it's just the capital. Yeah. Thanks, Leon. Anybody else? Nobody? I did not. I was hosting. So yes. I was toasting the culture and the moon, yes, indeed, and the brass was going. And this is possibly not my career, so I am here till Thursday. Cool, that was class, and everybody was really really good. And oh, do we have another person? Alex? No? Are you sure? No? Defo? Okay. Yeah, you've actually broken the supercomputer that calculates the clapometer situation because everybody was so good. But there was one act who possibly just went over the line a little bit with their performance. So I think the winner of the 5 words is, I have them down as audience participation. So the winners are our new theatrical poetry group, Audience Participation. And as the winners, you have to come back up and say it again. Yes, exactly like Eurovision. You even have a band behind you. You just need some sparkly outfits. Yes. And this time it's very important that the whole crowd participates. Okay?
And can we get 3 straws for the drink?
You can.
All of us are a part of this. We're all saying stuff.
Okay.
This song goes out to my mother. It's called Audience Participation. Distant as a floating vulture, circling downward, night of culture! Drink that pint on that coaster, then nurse your hangover with the toaster! Echoing. Brass. From my eye there rolls a tear, working hard on my career. O Vale de Gnaw, Aaron Loon. Igonia Shaw, on Shaw, Ikuga, Moon.
You now have to fight for who gets what, but here you go. And you can collect your drink at the bar. And 3 straws as well, please. And a big bowl of us. And thank you everybody. A big round of applause for everybody who read a poem. You were all absolutely fantastic. Well done, everybody. We are now going to take a 10-minute break for you to get some drinks at the bar, whatever you like, and we will join again in 10 minutes where we will have our guest poets. Thank you.
Where we were the other time, like the wine bar, or not the wine bar. Yeah, definitely. We could have thought about it. Let's get it. I don't know what time still going.
The very good dancers. The advanced class.
Not some of them are advanced there, but not there's a few good dancers that were that she calls out. You know, and then we were up the bank. You know, you can, I think it's pretty
It's my first time. I never been through anything like this.
You just met the worst poem in the world. That's the whole thing. I met up with the worst poem in the world. You said it, right? I know that only
but it was just before. It was just before. Yeah.
Is the Beamish good, John? Well tested anyway.
I don't know what you're going to say, Grant. It's local, so. Should we? Yeah. John Bill.
Sorry, John. Mary. How are you doing? You get called. Oh, you're very close now. You're
The next MC. It seems like it's just like my biggest nightmare. To be in front of people. Oh yeah. But then it's different for me, like if it's formal, if it's I'd be okay. Oh yeah, for sure. Tennis is very funny. Yeah. So watching some BBC are yeah, basically it takes things like their well-known or known or actually kind of say I'm going to finish like anyway, I'm going to take an example. I watched one night, Thursday, actually I'd like to football training and so on. Frank Skinner, yeah, but she knows. I love a bit. It's like, think about There's no reason why you stand up there. That's clear. Yes, I mean, it's very interesting. Or not, anyway, stop me there.
But to be honest, guys,
always amazing.
there's no point. There's a reason why. Here you go. And guys,
Steve really
one woman
if you started young. First I look at it now.
Question mark in the end.
But like for me, especially
as long as this drink is
you were robbed.
Thank you, John. I know. Come back. You've got the taste right now, you can taste
Do your Qarre.
That's it.
He gets to get the eyes involved.
You're on. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the clap off the room.
It's like you didn't have to do much, did it? You didn't have to do much.
I could do that.
Okay, like, point to the audience.
Every five now. That night, yeah. And then there was
So they rang me again. Sure enough, there's a town between my eyes and all the rest of it. And I was really, really busy at the website. And like that, I had to do this pre-running presentation purely on his code. He was kind of like schooling me, say this, say that, do then I colleague who's with me, she's got way more courage than I have. And the guy was like, oh, I can't see it. The results are on the night. And all of the nominees. So this guy was like, colleague's very forward, isn't she? I know, that's what I'm bothered about. Run back the so it's the Imperial Hotel. You say like think about logically, I think why be afraid?
Oh yeah, logic, yeah, but it's not that incredibly play when you're.
But if you're talking about it, you're not speaking. And that's why logically, and that's the trick is to try and what you're doing, what is it you were talking about, is like being good. Whereas like speaks it as like when the camera was behind me, she stood up.
Yes.
And as I said, I have this something this here with one. As you say, eyes on it.
That happened to me when I was very young. Maybe about 14 and it was at our company dinner called East. My mother makes a big formal dinner.
There's nominees
and somebody asked me a question, and everybody is supposed to be nominees for the I just got this.
Amazing. Weird.
But
some people love it. You know the old cliches like if you're shy, you get to interact. But it's now pretending to be somebody else. Well, I've got a boy. 4 years so yeah. I just have half convinced myself that I might see it myself. Like I want to be saying standing back. I should sit up there. You know, say, if I stood up here, going up there, I don't I would say also, by the way, sometimes like majority of people say, oh, it's very, I'm like, go on, and they say, and it's fantastic voice. I need good voice. I don't get that in between. You're exercising in a way, totally it's way up there, and in that horrendous I see no reason. No, if you captain it too. But then it all becomes angsty and I know, it's very childlike, like Madonna.
Like at work, I had they asked me to
probably like you were trying to probably reinforcing the other side. I think it's definitely undoable. At this point in time, like I was, this is like I came back from London in 2000. I'm sure there was shy Americans, but I've never. Yeah, exactly. Because these guys would be there, you know, so that they're trying. Came out, I missed this one, which was in John Ross, CFO came out, dressed up in Star Trek, lasers. Our people, some people are since they generally even on the black my ego, right? By a job. I actually, even though I'm shy, right? Obviously they're verbose, right? That's different as well. If I'm sitting in a practice, sometimes I've got I'm talking something talking about it, it's more years ago. He could talk me off. So the last place it seems like you don't want something like coming in high and you guys are very nice I know. I'd say of all things, like, you know, it's like a rapid over or if you give me notice, my hand is I saw a documentary the other day, hundreds of houses.
Right. Welcome back, everybody. Right. Welcome back. I hope you stocked up well on culture. Everybody, lots of culture going on over here. Lots of culture happening. Yes, I hear lots of culture. Great. Perfect. So now we have the third part of our very special evening. And this is the part where we get to hear the guest poets. I will go through some announcements before we get to that. And Ovale aims to maintain a safe space for writers and all attendees. We subscribe to the Arts Council's Equality, Human Rights and Diversity Policy, and we ask participants to report any offensive behaviour to Ovale. The 11th 5 Words International Poetry Competition continues, with the words changing tomorrow at 12 p.m. Tuesday at 12 p.m. Our 2023-2024 judge is Theo Dorgan. And the words for that competition for this week, for the 19th to the 26th, are distort, wing, fissure, not saying that right, recycle, ratio. So if anybody is into that, you can see it online also during the week. Please be aware that this event is recorded and will be available to revisit as an MP3 podcast and on video via Ovale's website, social media and Vimeo channels at vimeo.com/Ovale if you fancy checking it out at a later time, because you've had so much fun this evening. Our featured guests on Monday the 9th of October are Jane Robinson, who will be in person, Leah Naomi Green via Zoom. All are welcome to attend in person or online. And this is an exciting piece of information. The 2023 Munster Slam All-Ireland Heat will be held in Waterford for the first time ever at Itty Bitties on Thursday the 12th of October. Anyone who would like to enter can contact Ovale at info@ovale.ie, and the Wax Lemon, Derek Flynn, will be coordinating lifts from Cork on the night. So Cork people, travel to Waterford and compete in that, because it's brilliant, as some person here can attest to, and others as well. The top 3 performers on the night will represent Munster in early December in Derry, where they will get to compete for the All-Ireland title. If you win that, you can go to Europe, and if you win that, you can go to the world. Poetry Ireland will be bringing Ireland Is to the Everyman on the 29th of September. That's a spoken word roadshow featuring Colm Keegan, Erin Fornoff, Holly McNish, Felice Speaks, and Dennis Smith. The Everyman is offering Ovale audience members a €5 discount with the checkout code SEPT5. Long Valley Generosity provides the spare. Oh yes, the Long Valley very kindly provides the space for Ovale the second Monday of every month and tonight. So big them up and buy some drinks at the bar. Yay! Yay, the Long Valley, thank you, Alex. A key piece of information is Ovale is very grateful for any donations that you can provide. Everything helps, and we have a donation jar right here under the very stylish horse. We have this jar. If we could pass it around like we are at Mass or some other non-sexual event where they pass around something and you put money in it. If you could do that, that would be great. Anything helps. We also have a PayPal donations, which can be made via the link above the live poetry stage on our website. And you can find that if you go to ovale.ie on Google. And finally, there are some QR codes on the doors around the place. Culture Night wants you to tell them how much you enjoy culture, specifically this culture and other culture you have seen this evening. And you can scan that into your telephone and tell them how you feel. And then, I don't know, maybe they'll do something that you like next year or something. Or just tell them this was great, it's the best night of your life. And okay, great. So now I'll stop talking with you And we will have a very wonderful guest poet who I am absolutely delighted to introduce. We have Dublin-based poet and reigning All-Ireland Slam champion, Leon Dunne. Leon Dunne's work, focuses primarily on giving a voice to topics outside the mainstream conversation. Coming from a working class background and after studying English and film at UCD, he engages in language and rhythm with high energy to draw the listeners in. In November 2022, he won the All-Ireland Poetry Slam Championship held at the Winter Warmer Festival in Cork. In March 2023, he performed at Trafalgar Square in front of 15,000 people as part of London's St. Patrick's Day Festival. As Leon puts it, I write poems and stories for people that may feel left behind by the mainstream culture. So now, give a big old Cork round of applause for Leon Dunne.
Thank you very much. You're very official with this lectern here. It's wonderful. Can we have a round of applause for our wonderful organisers, please? There. Amazing. Fantastic. I'm just going to go straight into it. I'd be around town most days, conniving and skiving, yet still striving along, singing a song in my chemical-induced haze. I'd be around town most days. In the sun, having fun with the best of Balliar, Finglas and the Mun, cast out and passed out in this town that doesn't take in strays. I'd be around town most days. Sipping from flagons of broken dreams, what could have been, and memories of before things seemed to come apart at the seams. I'd be around town most days. Sitting broken and smoking alone with nothing but the scars of pain, with only a Gansey on decked out in the pistons of rain. They find people like me dead on the ground most days. Cause to you it might seem strange, a stranger asks for nothing but a bit of change in this country of broken systems and closed doors and people sleeping out on empty floors. I'd be around town most days. In a place where we choose bankers over human beings, a load of wankers who deem us less than the bottom line. Don't be worrying, they're over 18, they'll be fine. I'd be around town most days. Where the hostel is so hostile that it's safer to sleep out on the streets as long as we keep away from where the politicians meet. People don't want me around most days. But young and old, we're all the same. But it's what we're told is the real thing to blame. It's a choice they chose this life to live with strife to survive by needle or knife. I'd be around town most days. Where you have children of the system systematically spat out sporadically to the world as soon as they come of age. Isolated with nothing but their rage towards a world that has let them down. I think that they should be hidden underground in this invisible town. But the have-nots have got nowhere to go and instead their struggles are out there on show. I'd be feeling quite down most days. People forget that this won't go away. And these invisible children are still here to stay until the cycle is fixed. It won't cure itself. And shall continue to exist. So don't sit there and tell me that things are going grand. Because homeless are people too. I just need a hand. I hope we turn things around someday. Thank you. I don't know which is better, all you lovely people, or the fact that Beamish costs $5.20 here. It's fucking $6.50 and in Dublin. Rip off. Rip off. Yeah, kind of move. Since I have this lovely lectern here, I might as well use it. I'm going to do a bit of page poetry now. This poem is called Love Is. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to do it now. Enjoy it. Love is blind. Love is cruel, love is harsh, love is kind. Love is a hug from your ma and sharing a shite joke with your dad. Love is a Sunday roast at your nanny's house. Love is a few pints in the local. Spontaneous laughs, having the crack and not being afraid to get a bit vocal.
Love is a pint of water and a saucepan beside your bed just in case. Love is hungover chicken fillet rolls and a bottle of Lucasade Sport. Love is those with you for the memories, growing up and learning from each other's mistakes. Love is heartbreak. Love is a shoulder to cry on, you'll be alright, dust yourself off, tomorrow's another day. Love is sitting out in a field of friends on a hot summer's day. Love is a festival of colours. A symphony of music, love is like no other. Love is that favourite pet if you could possibly choose. Love is that one song that takes away your cares and your blues. Love is Dancing the Maniac 2000. Love is the sound of birds singing. Love is a first date and wedding bells ringing. Love is that first and last kiss. Love is that one mate who constantly takes the piss. Love is eating 99s at the beach. It's the sand in your hand and between the toes of your feet. Love is summer holidays. Love is when you feel you couldn't live without them for more than a few days. For love is a freshly brewed cup of tea. For love is a mood between you and me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I was saying to a few people around, it's like the last time I was here was for the All Ireland, and it was very stressful. Very stressful, as you can imagine. It's like performing in a pressure cooker. And Shawnee, you know what this is. It's wild. And like when you do gigs like this, it's great because you go and you see all these talented people and everyone's real creative, and you're like, oh my God, everyone's so amazing and talented. When you're at a slam, it's like, oh my God, everyone's so amazing and talented, but they better not be better than me. They're not be fucking better than me. So it's nice to be here and actually be able to, you know, enjoy myself. I enjoyed everything afterwards. It was just beforehand with the pressure and stuff like that. So yeah, and this is great. So thank you for having me. This is amazing to be here. So I'll do another poem for you. This poem is about love as well. It's about Ireland and about how Ireland is changing for the better. And because it's about Ireland, of course, I had to set it in a pub. So yeah, this is called A Brief Encounter. I had an argument with an older gentleman recently. At this course, the two opposing opinions, I tried my best to be amicably civil. But there was one thing that seemed to deem this conversation fruitless, the fact he was a traditional owl devil. Not that he was sentimental in the old days, more in a mental sense of homophobic ways, that he had a fear of gays, and others that he seemed to deem different. This feared of queer, or anything else near. That challenges the balance of power that is held quite dear to the likes of him. For you see, this man is the epitome of the heteronormative. I told him nothing is concrete, even gender is performative, but he disagreed. And about this time, the barmaid turned around to face our hypothetical battleground. She said, to mind his sort love, they're all ignorant pricks. Should they be going around calling people bundles of sticks? Well, he didn't like that. Instead, he declared that anyone who cared that he was part of a bygone era, good. Because about time we repaired the damage that ensnared for too long the Emerald Isles of Eire. No longer is it legal to be different, to be condemned by the church or the ghost of Eamon de Valera. And there's been signs of progress. A blossoming message the youths of society shall send them, shall look at the landslide victory, the marriage referendum, feeling fairly optimistic. And it's about time this gentleman got a grip on reality, saw this vision of equality was a bit more realistic. And there's differences between us, me and him and me, but if you looked at us both, similarities you might see. White, working class, male, straight. While his sort bars the door, our sort helps to open that gate. Because we're all part of a new Ireland. One with a bit more fluidity, a country with a little less fucking negativity towards those brave enough to challenge the norm. Because yous are all beautiful and shouldn't have to conform. Thank you very much. I'm going to try utilise this lectern as much as I possibly can. I wish I had a little pair of glasses to put on. Fortunately. Oh, thank you. That's better. Thank you. Ooh. Hang on. I'll hold it like this. Okay. Actually, this poem's quite serious if I put this near. There you are. Thank you for your lovely glasses. Anyway, so this poem, Ireland is changing, and Ireland is also staying the same. So there's some things that a lot of people face. As I told you before, pints are lovely down here. They're very expensive in Dublin. Everything in Dublin is expensive. And a lot of people go emigrate because they can't find a better place. They can't find a place to stay, and then they're working to pay their rent, and they're living just to pay their rent. And a lot of people emigrate. So I wrote this poem called The Road, and it's about immigration in Ireland and how it's still going on. And yeah, I'll start now. There's been plenty of times throughout my life where I've packed a bag and ran away. Not a sneaking out the house, mind you, more I'll see you soon, I'd say. For the road is long and always calls. And for me, I just couldn't resist. Often I'd hear the siren song, those delicate words that always persist. And I often heard it late at night, when all the world's asleep. Softly through an open window, I'd hear that calling creep. For many a times I've traversed the road, until my feet were sore. And I'd just be home 5 minutes or so, and the road would call to me once more. Well, eventually I began to settle, and packed my bags away. But the road persists her whisperings, and often she would say, come along for one more ride, and see the corners not yet travelled. But I'd just begun to create this life, and would not care for it to simply be unravelled. And though I firmly stood my ground, and stayed more than a year, I watched my friends all go before me, down that road that draws us far and near. For they too hear its constant call, and out the door they go. But for how long and far they disappear for, only the road shall ever know. For this island that we live on has a tradition of, I'll see you soon, I'd say. And with prices going through the roof, more are disappearing by the day. And I worry how my friends are doing, since they've travelled out that door, to a land of more prosperity, while the road sings evermore. As I sit and wait for their return, while the road sings evermore. Thank you. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Beamish. Thank you. Nowhere to put it. I don't want to spill it on that advice. I'll take it. I'll put it there. Is that okay? Thank you very much. It's okay. I'll do a little. These are all heavy poems. I'm gonna do a little light poem, I suppose. Be nice. This is my little poem. It's about little. It's about these characters that you see in your daily life, and you wonder what are they fucking doing with that? Like, what do they do every day? So, I was that little, of course, naturally, and I wrote this poem about it. This is my little poem. There's a fellow I see very often. Over at the Lidl is where he stands, dog leash in hand, just standing. Soft smile on his lips, watching the dailies consumers make copious trips in and out, in and out, in and out. Across those freshly washed floors and out through the double doors, I often wonder what he's thinking. Standing there day after day after day from June to May, just watching people potter about. He doesn't beg. Just the odd hello and same smile all the while his faithful companion sits down there by his leg, just waiting. And I find myself debating what could possibly draw him to that very spot. Curiosity. Boredom. Or other people's generosity, like my Mrs. Granny used to buy him the odd pack of cans, but random packs of Guinness couldn't be the sole reason as to why he stands there just chilling. Contentedly, people watching and time killing. And I often imagine he's been there from the very start now. Not the building a little, but way back to the Big Bang when God let out that giant fart of stardust. Creation. When cosmic storms cause worlds to form and he's just there. Alright. And at the end of it all, when our universe receives its final curtain call, the 4 horsemen pull up. The word apocalypse upon their lips, and he's just still there, Labrador now lying on the floor. I imagine they'd share a look between themselves and wonder, what's he been doing there all this time? And they'll ask, to which he'll softly reply without so much as even batting an eye. Just waiting. For who? God? Goddo? You could have fucking forgot them. Who knows? Well, if you're ever down with a little, you could probably just fucking ask. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was my little poem. I am not sponsored by Lidl, would you believe? I'm actually more of an Aldi man, but sure look. Maybe while I'm trying to find a poem to get here now. I wrote this poem. Actually, here's a poem that I didn't write. Here's a poem that I love saying, and it's the story behind it is just fantastic. So I heard this poem being sung by a musician called Jack O'Rourke. He was asked to put this to music. It is a poem written by Brendan Behan about Oscar Wilde. It was written in Irish, and thankfully for me, they translated into English. Unfortunately, I couldn't read it in Irish. It was translated by Ulick O'Connor. It's about the last days of Oscar Wilde, written by Brendan Behan. So, look, we're being real cultural, getting all cultured. We might as well listen to a few poems from people that actually know what they're doing, better than me. So, that body once lively, dumb in the darkness, quiet but for candles blazing beside him. His elegant form and firm gaze exhausted. Exiled now from the cafes to sanctity's desert, the young prince of sin, broken and withered. Lust left behind him, gem without luster. No whiskey for the stiff now, but cold, holy water. The young king of beauty, Narcissus broken, but the pure star of Mary as a gleam on the ocean. Sweet is the way of the sinner, sad death without God's praise. My life on you, Oscar boy, yourself had it both. Thank you. Just as a disclaimer, them claps are from Brendan Behan, they're not for me, alright? Just in case he comes and haunts me around like that. Thanks for clapping for Brendan Behan, alright? So, sound. I'll do a little other spoken word piece, I suppose. I'm trying to find these pages. Yeah, so I've been asked to do a competition there a while ago after this, and it's called Slamavision. It's like the poetry version of Eurovision. I know. You have to do a video and then they record it and then they send it off to I think there's 12 countries and they vote on it like the Eurovision. Marty Whelan's not there, unfortunately. So I asked, don't worry, I made sure. But they asked me to use a poem and they wanted one that kind of described something that was personal to me. They kind of used a bit of Irish lingo. And this is the one I used. So it was about growing up in school and being a bit different and trying to fit in. And not. So I hope you can relate. Hopefully not, but sure, look, this is a poem about that. So I'll start one second. Right. Let's talk about masculinity. About this male inability to recognize and identify. The underlying fragility when understanding what it is to be a man. From the get-go, you're swept up in this narrative, this grand scheme, this plan. An amalgamation of information derived from the etiquette of life. Don't be fucking crying. Don't be getting the notions to show emotions, except maybe anger, you know, when you're pissed and fisted be flying, cause real men know words are for birds, and birds do be lying. Don't laugh, it's serious. And we're taught these rules in the very beginning. Especially in schools where the kids do be grinning to each other. Anyone who doesn't seem to fit in, you know the types, the geeks, freaks and weirdos. Yeah, they're a bit different, but they're much easier to jeer. That takes the heat off me, basically. And those that don't fit the guidelines are placed on the sidelines, outcast, out past the corner post of normality. And this is done with the utmost formality. Sorry. Can't play in our game. We don't even follow football. And a few years pass and it's still the same game, and this rejection sticks to buries into your brain for the rest of your teenage life. Cuts through your confidence like a hot fucking knife, all because you didn't play along. Didn't pretend like the others to be all macho and strong, no. You liked art. Music and skating, therefore you're picked on and given a few beatings because you deserve it, you little tick, you little sap, you smelly little hippie, and they hitch another. Because you're different. Because you're unique. Because you're challenging the norms and they perceive this as weak. But they're wrong. You are strong. And school doesn't last forever and life after is very long compared to that shite. When every day feels like a struggle and there's trouble or to fight for, you see. Some lads become dads and these boys become men, and they'll have kids of their own, and God forbid it happens to them. Hopefully their boys grow up to be a part of the team. That's the dream. Fitting in is real easy, or so it would seem, when you keep the head down. Play by the rule book of bullshit. With any luck, they'll avoid getting stuck in that cesspool of negativity, the hegemonic, demonic brotherhood of toxic masculinity. Because there's more to life than playing by hypothetical rules, and those who enforce these laws are just a bunch of shitebags and fools too afraid to be themselves. Like a flock of sheep, they must keep in step with their hair, but if their manhood's ever questioned, you can see that they're scared because they're not you. You can be kind and be gentle and be true. What more can you do? Be you. Thank you very much. Or two. Okay. I've got a short poem here that I'd like to read, and then I'll do one more spoken word piece, and then we shall get on to our next poem. So I won't keep this. This one is for all the mammies out there. I love poetry in a sense that it can capture a snapshot in time. I like to just kind of, write about ordinary things that happen throughout the day, like such as a lot of poets in this room, I imagine. That's what, but it's trying to capture the ordinary and turn it into something. So I was sitting down at me, I was sitting in my sitting room eating breakfast, and I was watching out the window, and I just happened to see a scene play out across the road, and I just watched, and I'm going to try write something about it. So this is for all the mammies in the room, and if you know, you'll know. So brightly coloured lunchboxes scattered across the countertops, ham and cheese, no crusts, uniforms neatly laid out, carrying the scent of washing powder, a kiss on the forehead, and enjoy your day now, be good. Steadily they march down the drive, furiously engaged in conversation. She watches from the porch. And even after they've turned the corner, she lingers in the doorway, just to make sure. Thank you. So, this last poem that I'm going to finish on is about the leaving cert. Everybody sharing that PTSD of the leaving cert. Everyone goes, oh fuck no, I hate the leaving. Nobody enjoyed the leaving cert, either did I. So I wanted to write a poem, so I started doing a bit of teaching poetry in secondary schools, and being around teenagers, you start to kind of relive that PTSD of the leaving cert. So I wanted to kind of write a poem about it I think with when you're doing the leaving cert, not only is there external pressure of doing it, but there's also the pressure you put on yourself. And I wanted to write something kind of maybe for anyone that's doing the leaving cert to realise that it's all a load of shy. It's all a load of shy. You don't need it. You know, you just go back as a mature student, do what I did. It's grand, not a bother. It works out well. So I wanted to write a poem about that. 1 second. One last sip there before I go. A little poem for those in waiting. On a few results that could determine their path through the river of life they're busy wading through. As a nation, I find it a bit silly to be placing all this pressure on 16 to 18-year-olds all for a single examination all over a little silly certification bush. Aren't we all told the same thing? It's the biggest test of your life, so don't mess it up. Now, it's been a few years since I sat mine, but sure, I can still remember the time when, even though it feels like a century ago, sure, it was only back in 2010. And something of that magnitude that's placed on the shoulders of basically kids, young adults waiting on results. Things are a bit different from my generation. For one thing, we were still gigged financially as a nation. I remember my guidance counsellor sitting us down. No empathy or sympathy, just wearing a small frown and a single simple statement. Things are a bit doused in turmoil right now. And I don't know how to tell you, this is probably the only chance to make it through all this economic strife. And that's a bit heavy to hear for someone so young in life. I'd practically just fallen out of the womb at that stage. And after months of hearing it from all sides, don't be worrying, but you better be studying. It's only the biggest moment of your life, so don't waste it. Face it head on, be mature. Doesn't matter if you're unsure, it all boils down to this. And if you miss it, you spend the rest of your life as a fuck up without a clue. Only highlight your week talking to Elwins and the dole queue. Pressure's rising, I'm not sinking, I'm diving to the depths of despair. I haven't studied enough, I messed it up, and now it's something never get the chance to repair. 13 years on, I can still remember crying to my man if I hear Legan is Shakur Mucka Quidge. One more time, I'm going to fucking scream. Listen, I got 240 points in the leaving cert. I remember the disappointment. I remember feeling like a failure, like I messed everything up. And that dole queue was waiting, calling out my name. I didn't answer its call. Instead, I worked my whole off to build something small, my confidence in myself. Spent a few years travelling and seeing life beyond the shelf they tried to place us on. And I went to college when I was 27. Not once did they ask what points I got. Felt like I'd died and gone to heaven. No labels, no bullshit or fables. My point in all this is that you are worth more than some silly little score out of 600. And I'm just using my life as an example, a sample that you might not take the direct route. A few twists and turns here and there, but it's the truth. And I hope you get all the points that you want. But if you don't, it's not the be all and end all. Because you are worth more than some silly little score. That's all I'll say. Because you are worth more than some silly little score. Thank you very much, Edmund Leon.
Thanks very much, Leon. Give it up again for Leon Dunne. The current All-Ireland Poetry Slam champion. Yay! Great stuff. So the great poetry continues, and we have our second guest poet, who is Qarre, who is zooming in from North Carolina. Yes, wow, indeed. Key is a Kenyan-born spoken word poet, author, speaker, and mentor. She writes poetry on different social issues, but her works have a key focus on leadership and mental health. She began performing poetry in May 2016 and won Women's Slam Africa that same year in December. This opened doors for her to begin traveling for poetry performances, such as Women of the World Poetry Slam in Dallas 2017, Women on the Bayou City Slam, Stone Town Zanzibar Tour, and others. She has published 2 poetry anthologies, Tears of the Pen, Rafu Books in 2018, and Broken Vase, Kenya National Library Service 2021, and went on a book tour in the USA in October 2021. Here she had the chance to visit 5 cities: Houston, Fort Worth, Boston, Washington, D.C., and Phoenix. She was a featured poet in Arizona State University and Stephen F. Austin State University in the USA. Key also had the chance to be featured on leading TV shows, newspapers, and shows such as Daily Nation, People Daily, The Star, The Trend, The Daily Sentinel, Google Africa, Idea Initiative by Planned Parenthood, among others. Key advocates for leadership that focuses on social justice and mentorship. She is part of the Rising Stars Project, a mentorship program for juveniles in Kamiti YCTC, where she uses Lego Serious Play to help juveniles begin to build their identity and work with their peers. You can read more about Key at https://keycarre.com. Now please give your full attention and a big round of applause to Qarre.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the good introduction. Surprisingly, I'm also on tour, and I was traveling from Seattle to North Carolina, and the time difference for me did not work out. So I'm having to do this in my car, driving back home. And I hope to get to connect with you regardless. I will start with my first poem. She doesn't want to spread her legs, because the first time she did is the first time she died. She chewed her feelings and pain, and the shame of her nakedness ate away the strong woman she used to be. She was far from home, and the smell of tarmac would have made her lungs collapse. Now she doesn't want to spread her legs. She's afraid of what that first time felt like. She can't stand her naked body since that night. She tries and it never works out. She cries, but her laugh and her wail sound the same, so they think she's tears of joy. Maybe she doesn't want to spread her legs, and even when they know why, they still want to tie her lips. But she wants to open her mouth and speak about the injustices that have been done to her body, how her temple has been defiled by rich, dirty, powerful hands, how her nights have been tormented by cursed thoughts, how she hates to be a woman, how her spirit calls for vengeance, how she calls out to the Lord but remembers that she was taught that he too is a man. She doesn't want to spread her legs. The only time she intentionally spread her legs, she was in love. But there was too much light in the room, so when the curtains fell, her scars were exposed, and the lover did not like what he saw, so he left. And now she cries. And no one hears the sounds of her wail. They think, oh, maybe it's another poem, not realizing that she is the poem. That's the end of it. I wrote this poem thinking about the many, women, especially who go through sexual violence and abuse and all that, especially being immigrants of a different state or country. And I was thinking about all those women and especially artists, because I have had personally stories of young women and artists, and not just young women, but also men altogether that have been, sexually harassed or abused just for, in foreign states or countries for, people by people who just, promise them the world, but nothing ever happens. So when I was thinking about that poem, I was thinking to myself, if something similar to that happened to me, and I decided to use my voice of artistry to write about it, people would equally just think, oh, she's just being creative. That's just her nature. It's a thing she does. And, they don't realize that sometimes these are the things we go through, sexual harassment, sexual abuse. And I try to be very vocal on matters such as those. And that was the first poem. Now, allow me to speak in my language, which is Swahili. I speak 3 languages, by the way. I speak English, I speak Swahili, and I speak my mother tongue, which is Kikuyu. I haven't written much poetry in Kikuyu, but I have written a lot of poetry in Swahili and English. Now, here goes some Swahili. Wana escape mosquitoes chini ya neti, waupimwa malaria VCT. Hawagopi risasi ndani ya gun, wanagopa kofia mkono imeshika gun. Powders na filters mwasaidia kupaint perfect pictures before 5-inch screens, but behind the scenes pimples zatushana na dimples zikiwa zimeunfold. Na rough ride ya maisha tana filters haiwezi kwa smooth. Cheki, tumejifunza kutoa uchafu mdomoni kwa kucha. Alafu bila kunawa tunakula kwa sinia moja. Sisi ni watu familia. Na sisi si watu familia tu, sisi ni familia moja. Tumetumia WhatsApp groups kujuana kimwili, alafu repercussions tunapelekea admins in hidden tongues. Ndoa za kando siku hizi zinaanza na nitumie hii WhatsApp status, alafu tuna expect a serious partner out of a relationship that was initiated by a meme. Ona, vitu serious tunachukulia vichekesho na vichekesho tunachukulia serious. That being said, nasikia kuna moyo fulani imespotiwa chikenini after kuku kuexpose kifua kwa windscreen. Bad mind ya binadamu ni siwaleni ya heaven, but up to this time hatujui kama heaven kuna ghetto. Ati dhambi za binadamu hufanya snow. Okay, kama black ndo the new white makanda kusema, wanasema wingu na mwambie hata wakiniita masaa ya wachawi bado nitawaroga. Na wakikuuliza mimi ni nani, mwambie naitwa Koi na mimi ndo mfanya hawa marafiki wa 30 wanaanza kutupa mbao. I like the confusion in the room. That poem, to be honest, I was very interested. I was very interested in seeing or trying to figure out whether I could become a hip hop artist. I have not succeeded in doing any of that. I cannot keep the beat that one. So it explains why I'm a spoken word artist in the first place. But that poem was really written about Nairobi. I wrote that poem to just describe the situation of Nairobi sometimes. Normal things are happening in my city. Nairobi is a beautiful city. Anyone who's not visited Nairobi is welcome to visit Nairobi. No, I am not there at the moment. Nairobi is a beautiful city, although even in its beauty, there is, there's some, when the sun goes down, Nairobi can become a little bit of too much. So that poem was really just written about Nairobi and some of the stories and the things I know about Nairobi. Now, if you can allow me, I'd also like to read a number of poems. And this next poem, now the only challenge I'm having here is that I cannot ask any questions.
We're losing your connection, I'm afraid. If you can hear us.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, you're frozen. Yes. We've lost you, I'm afraid. Well, give it up for Qarre. It was great to hear her words. And it is cool that we can hear a poet in America from here on Friday night. And I would recommend that you check out Key's poetry online and all of the work that she's done. We in this room here are going to take a break, but first please give it up again for Leon Dunne and his wonderful performance. Thank you very much, Leon. We're going to take a break so you can all go tell Leon how great he was. And also, we have an open mic sign up list here for anybody who would like to sign up on the open mic to read your own poem or a poem by somebody else if you wish. But the open mic list is open now, so we'll have a break for like 10 minutes. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, sorry we lost you.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about that. I'm on the road and it's raining and everything.
Oh well, we're glad.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to hear your poem.
Were you able to hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Fantastic.
Okay.
All right. I'll read my next poem, if that's okay, which is titled "What Miracle Happened." She said, "Wow, you've grown so light since we last met. What miracle happened to your skin?" And I didn't know how to respond to whatever that was. It did not sound like a compliment, and the more I think about it, the more disturbed I become. Did you hear that it was miraculous that I became a little lighter? That I lost a little blackness? And wow, it had to take a miracle, because sometimes in these kinds of environments, acceptance means losing a little bit of yourself, a little bit of your origin, a little bit of your accent, your ethnicity, your language, the way you say literally, and the way you do your hair, and a lot more. I mean, it could only take a miracle to lose all that in such a short span of time, right? Do you know that some migrants, that some immigrants, if not all, have to lose parts of themselves to be accepted in a country such as this? Do you also know that that never happens? I mean, I learned I was Black while applying for a visa to the United States of America. Who picked that for me? Why does it sound so foreign? Why is my entire identity being described in a box? Why is some other person ticking that section for me? My race feels like something I have to become or something I am becoming. Oh, my dear children. My children attend school in an American school but come back home to an African home. Our roots are imprinted deeply into our system. We build home, but when governments have corrupted our system of governance. So that way, it is easier to get materials raw, because people, the latest phone models with cameras make it look a little brighter. Our society has grown so light since we last checked. What miracle happened? Even Africa doesn't look like the Africa we have previously seen on TV. My goodness, did Africa lose a little darkness? What miracle happened? Oh, yeah, that's the miracle that happened.
Thank you so much, Dee. We've lost you there again, but thank you very much for joining us. And everybody check out Kea's poetry online and all of the really amazing stuff that she's done. Give it up again for Kee, Qarre. Thank you very much. And now we're going to take a break for 5 to 10 minutes. And open mic list is here. Put your name on it. Come read your poem.
That's important.
Yeah. Sorry, it keeps breaking up, so we'll just leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. Just look good here so I can see you. Thank you so much. Sorry, the connection keeps breaking up. But thanks again for, and everybody please give it up for Kee Qarre. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
All right. Give me a heads up on when to start.
So we're just going to take our break now. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry, the connection keeps breaking off. Maybe the walking is like there. Can you explain? I've explained what's going on. No, you can do it.
Am I the only one?
No.
There's loads more, surely. Not too bad, I'm not even sure. I believe this is open mic, is it? Holy Christ. What was it like? What was it like for the open mic? Because I was above the Cock Songwriters on the live stream from the library.
Good, yeah, it was good. The people for that one, there was like 3 of them read it together. The people at the back.
Yeah?
Yeah, you look lovely.
I tell you, making the effort anyway. You look beautiful. Nice, good to see you.
Stunning, like. Shauna, I'm going to try to do 2 like medium-sized poems, but if it's very busy, I never pull that card. But I have a little tribute for my friends who happen to show up, so I'm going to try to squeeze that in. But let me know though when it comes to it.
It's Friday night, so
Oh yeah, cool. I suppose we're probably a bit earlier. That's a shame.
How are you saying? I don't think I was sing sang. Sorry I couldn't make it. I would love to have heard your poems.
Everyone has been mad lately.
Yeah, I haven't been around. Was there a crowd there?
Yes, definitely. That was honestly, I had fun. I hope people have had fun with me as well, but I definitely had fun. It was
crazy.
Yeah.
It was great. I'm so sorry we couldn't get more of her. She's great, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry that we couldn't.
It was breaking up too much. Yeah.
When you're driving,
it's off. Was she actually driving? Oh, okay.
It's the person in the other seat.
Oh, yes. Yes. I don't know. There was a miscommunication there, I think, with me and that, but I hope it's like, yeah, okay,
You know, I really like that. Just kind of like learn behavior.
You don't think you're going to bring your parents, but we do. We actually do. There's no doubt about it.
It's like
I'm very long so I don't come very often.
well, I thought I had and that's talk about last night, I mean you do them.
Well, sadly now. We're just here to listen. We're just watching anyway.
Thank you.
You're volunteer, John. I find
Unfortunately, see, I mean, it's true, you know. Like it, falling deaf ear most of the time. It's kind of like a decreasing of audience, but really good. It is reflection.
I told Kim, how about you bit intense for me?
The intensity is reduced by you get more mellow and you think, doing drawings all you can see now when you start playing, like, fuck's sake! It's pretty intense too. Hard doing that. So of course you've got, maybe eventually back in North Carolina on some freeway or something. It's not going to work like that. That's tough going. It's tough going. Problem is like working in college, like we go through, might end up. It's also speaking to particularly not to her. Not like you're Donald Trump types or very people like who should be listening. Anyway, or even more from your mother, right? That's the problem. Like echo chamber wasn't there. DC and 15,000 people do appreciate like when the voice projects certain reality, right? Whereas the UK is going at the moment, 15,000 out of 70 million, 68 million. You know, like, you wonder like who is actually is going hopefully, is it next year? The country is run for the voting public, which are the Sun-reading majority, and all they're the ones that wrongly are putting these people in government. There's a lot we can do. No one can do that. It's horrific. It's again and again. Teresa said, why do you read it? When you read about so I said, like, you know, it's all torture, really. At the same time, I think, you know what? Trump gets in again, and Tories gets again. I just think, keep my Guardian. Because I'm reading what it is checks and balances they go on about in every film ever made, right? Just need to be there. It's like, I should be in jail by now. So I think, like, and then I say, I'm reading about the war in Ukraine, and I get more depressed. And I said, I tell you what, and I read about something else, I get more depressed. That's what I who reads everything and says, like, you know what? Very often I read. It's all depressing. All
it is and I think we can that's what we dwell on. That's what we dwell on.
So like, I was a guy, a friend of mine, he's telling me, he's written a long time ago. But I know where like in hindsight, he's kind of like part of the city. So like, I'm from the north of Cork. North, east north. Yes. And I'm proud to be that way. And so he knows how to wind me up. I won't tell you what. He's trying to win them. He knows the notes on his balance. So they just lost. Last night he was saying like, that's not a given. There was a plumber. Time will pass and it's not like, you know, he really got into something like, I remember saying like, we wouldn't be right with him.
Yeah, but Trump is capitalist.
He's part of the story. See, like he was pumped because he became so certain. Back then, he was pumped. I know he knows. So then the doctor said that shit like this because they don't want to change. Why not? But they change somewhat. Some will not be happy. Oh, I'm grand. It's a long time. And then of course, when you're in that situation, you feel like something. And like so, you have to.
Just go over
I think they were rather proud. They were I mean, that was somebody, I mean, one of the stories was they were not Manchester, apart from being, you know, the immigrants in the world,
you know what's going on?
I wish I had the brass band back, but I don't. Okay. And finally, we're now on to the fourth part of the evening, which is the open mic. Please give your full attention to the people coming up here, pouring out their hearts, their souls. I will take this time to remind you the donation jar is still around if you'd like to pour out your pockets or your wallets. It's there. And now, on the open mic, the first to join us is Sushi.
Hello guys, I'm not completely sober, so just be nice to me. The first poem I read to you guys was the worst poem of the evening. This is not the worst poem of the evening, but it's pretty fucking close. This is a poem I wrote in 2015, 8 years ago. Yes, I'm mature now. I wasn't then, so be kind. This one's called Sanity. Be kind, please. Because this poem, I've never said it with my words ever. I wrote it once, sent it to a few friends on WhatsApp, and they were like happy about it. I'm reading it for the first time. I have a stutter. If there's a long dramatic pause, it might just be because of my stutter. So, Sanity. I laugh as they try to find a trace of sanity in my chaotic mind. A lifetime of truth seen with the eyes of dreams. My mind is my shrine. Not withered with time, it only grows more. The more I touch, the more I feel. It leads me to believe. They say I'm unable to think straight. I think they fail to open their mind's gate, to let new ideas in, to manufacture a new thought, see things with a new perspective, to understand what they sought. They all think the same, in the same lines, in the same light, and they call themselves sane. But relative as our place is in this ever changing universe, so are our rules of thumb, our laws, and our morals. Your sanity comes from a place of quasi singular consciousness, from a place of dire lack, and dare I say, a fear of individuality. A place where different is, you know what, I don't even know what I've written. A place where different is heinous, discarded like a bad organ, with us, like us, or defective. That's your slogan. They've tried to cure me. They've tried to cure me though. Over the years, in many ways, since I was too little to understand, till I was too old to change, I understand my mother's kind words. I understand my father's rage. I remember when I started to question the world that was fed to me. I remember my teacher's cane. For all these years, they tried to make me see things their way, but they failed to see me. I think I'm just differently sane. Thank you. Pretty fucking close, I know.
Thank you very much, Susan. Woo. Next up is Roxy.
We're a team, so I gotta do it because Sushi did it. So, unfortunately, it's a love poem. So, it's called Or So You Said. You learn to lick love of silver knife blades, sadistic flavor of honey, limited edition, top shelf. Or so you said. Taking a spoonful for my beverage, then poison spreading through my veins, freezing your uncertainty of us. Reading your pixelated love and weekly cheesy lines, blinding me from the venom in your kisses and wandering hands. Emotionally sadistic, excitedly masochistic. You promised the rope in your drawers for my wrist. Instead, I'm disentangling this noose from my neck and handcuffs of my gullibility. But wait, I still believed I was the shot of happiness, the pocket full of sunshine you so desperately needed. Even though my only talent was being too much or making you stressed. But that's okay, you blamed it on ADHD and cultural differences. Because you lack accountability and self-awareness. Blanket covered the oblivious lies. Crocodile smile, I'm out of my mind. The doctor prescribed me band-aids for this pain, but the bullet hole keeps bleeding away. You didn't know the cartridge was full. I felt so secure. You were so sure. Or so you said. Now the only man standing is the one with the gun. The only question remaining, shooting and leaving. Were you a reckless or a ruthless coward? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roxy. Next up, we're going to hop on over to Zoom and we're going to have Brian. Brian, I don't know your full name. So just Brian.
Sorry, are you referring to me? General Isabel? Did you say Brian, me? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so I've got two poems. The first is one afternoon on the bus. There's a young man around 21 sitting directly behind the bus driver, intently tap dancing on his cell phone with his thumbs. Directly behind him is a man in his late 60s wearing what looks like a 1980s members only windbreaker, who spends almost every afternoon riding the bus. He worries the kid who looks smart enough will ruin his ability to properly communicate because of all his constant texting. Two women who are possibly not yet 20 are talking loudly about boys they have both dated, including facts like penis size. Suddenly, a bike messenger jumps the curb in front of the bus. The driver stops short. The phone flies to the side and hits one of the loud girls in her boob. She yells, "Boy, I own this phone now." In less than 18 months, the older man will write a New York Times bestseller titled "What Happened During My Residency on the Columbus Avenue Line." One that has been before. It's called Scotch on the Rocks. The bartender dips a metal scoop into the ice machine. The ice sounds like little marbles when it lands in the glass. He sets it atop a pock-marked bar. When he pours the scotch, you hear the slight Rice Krispie-esque crackle of the ice objecting to its eventual melting. It's the good, expensive stuff that you rarely get. The bartender asks if you're celebrating something. He recounts that he remembers when your dad brought you in to celebrate your first job after college, back when his now deceased uncle owned the place. He pushes the glass across the oak. It travels less than a foot before it arrives at you. You lift it to about where your chin is. You tilt it back and forth. The ice jingles. It sounds a bit like one of those collars people put on their dog when they dress it up like an elf at Christmas. You lift it till it hits your bottom lip. It smells of fresh cooked butterscotch, buttery sweet, and the tiniest bit bitter. Your top lip rises just enough for a sip of liquor to travel over your tongue to your taste buds and slide down your throat. A warm sensation happens for a few seconds that feels like you won an award for sighing. During this time, you closed your eyes when the scotch entered and opened them when you set the glass on the bar. You exhale through your nose before sip number 2. You say to the bartender, "Yes, Travis, I am celebrating." You don't tell him what you are celebrating. You don't order a second drink. You leave a generous tip. He says to have a nice night and says your name. As you are walking out, you wonder what you two would talk about if you ran into each other at a diner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. Next up is Cathal Holden, please. There's some seats up here as well if anybody wants. There is a seat here and some more seats.
What's the story, guys? How are you? I must admit, you caught me in a bit of a fluster there. I've been running here and there. Later, man. We got a long night later. So I've been doing a bit of hip hop lately. That's been my buzz, and I want to do something for you guys from that. No, obviously, I have to do without me. But don't stray too far from that one. You got it. All right. Okay. So this one is called Lion's Mane at the moment, and yeah, it's just a sampler from that set I'm working on. So come and watch me stumble to the stage, like here's another portrait of the artist as a page, how I float above the pattern like a spider over lace, and in between reality and the waves. I've been swinging back and forth, the ink from inclement, my weather's dark, but how is yours?
It's been a long dark night shift, mag light nightstick, can of Sergeant Pepper spray. You know I got my baggage cause I always bring the pain. Love, there was another one before you, and there's a hole in my heart that I can see a whole other world through. And I painted her picture on the wall of the cave in earth tones, warm ochre and red clay. Now it's another tale of Devon, the others end up wearing nothing but their harpy pellet herringbone. I hit the kitchen for the hair of the dog, way downstairs through the waist deep fog, and I stir my concoction with a crossbow bolt. I'll remind myself that this is not my fault, so I two-time torment, it's an act and I have got it down. I frolic in the meadow and an assortment of flower crowns. I see you won't hold the door cause you're afraid you'll let the power out. Now I am cutting through the frequency just like a musical saw. A couple poems short of being a cubicle wall. I empty my bazooka to the heart of the herd, like I unlock my bike around the back of the world. I am Christopher Robin Hood, innocent fugitive, robbed from the rich cause I find it more lucrative, and my missiles all lock while you wonder what the future is. See, I was born just short of the barn door, lived forever then got bored. I sailed down to the ocean floor, I pick the weed, I kick the snake, I steal the fleece, I'm on the make. The seeds I sow are dragon's teeth, I take my hammer to the piece, and I admit that it was me. I chopped down the cherry tree, I stood and would not take a knee. It was I who shot the albatross, I went to war against the gods. I confess I cannot tell a lie, I stole the fire from the sky. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much, Cahill. Next up is, can you hear me? Next up is Kieran McCartan. Woo! Microphone check. What is this? Microphone check. Yes, something has happened with the microphone. That is accurate information.
Not sure.
JJF, just not sure. So she fixed it, so well done. Okay, so.
Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, sweet. The mic has returned to us. Happy Culture Night, everyone. Yeah, on the ball. Great to see the city and all its cultural glory and all that. Raised on rage. If you only knew the half of it, you'd know well more than me. Out of control, latent frustration. Firing out statements as though patience was patented. The space once oxygen after the flame. Brewing on a festered temper. Listening was last September and we're in early March. Stewing like my pestered mentor resetting in the dark. If I only took half of this, I'd still be fucked. I wish to have a mother's luck all those cold nights. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kieran. Next up is Patricia Walsh.
This is called the Tartan Cowbell. Lost and found in contemplation, the worst of all. The savage city rolled into one omnibus. A fine glass of wine assuages the impossible. Some coffee does the same job, crushed to paper. Thinner models preferred over the celibate. Being clean and rich is all that is required. Being spoken of in hushed tones a spoiled mess. Bought out of favour, needing time of day. Rare forms concatenate to the mobile den. Head wrecking to compose, much less condemn. Taking on popularity with a tailspin circuit. Solitary drinks scan this level of protein encased. Sweet and short, an ultraviolet station. Candid at home, creaming the local profits. Moving ahead, a paying customer, holding fast, translated into domestic joke therein. Conditional love from history tightens in the noose. The hapless joke driven far into purpose. The crumbs from the cake falling to the ground. Minions gather around for singular helpings. Covert pride throws happiness off the wall. Population staring into the crowded vacuum, exiting, though, an industrial purpose. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Patricia. Next up, we're going to hop over to Zoom once more, and we have Massimo.
Hey, can everybody hear me okay? I'm going to try to do 2 poems in 4 minutes. So I just stopped for a second. Find that love for my life where I left it. I love myself. How could I forget it? I made love to my world. Why in the world would I regret it? Like you, I was naked and shameless, crazy, creative, and aimless, full of surprises, but played with the changes. My life was so good, but not painless. I wore so many faces, with traces of so many people as though they were phases reflecting the sameness of self through its phase as a world full of strangers. But I love us to pieces. If we are the puzzle and love is where peace is, maybe the ways of the world have pain just to teach us that we too are teachers. Each of us, brothers and sisters and lovers, because there is no one among us who has not loved and been loved once. So what does that tell us? About how to see in each other ourselves as the truth of our picture develops. And seeing your picture will help us. Can we imagine the light of our dreaming as more than illusion induced in our sleeping? And can I imagine the light of my seeing as streaming reflections of thought from my being? But I'm not saying you're the creator, but don't deny you're a creator. The fact that we'd ask for a savior proves to us all we are something to savor. And our powers go further when we can sit back and just be observers. I'd say this world just revolves around me, but then so often I go in circles, unravel in spirals, static while traveling miles. I move just to know that I can until I can be still and know that I am. Because to show love is our nature. So when I show you love, I do you no favor. It's because I am loved, I am thankful, and so moved I choose to show love to my neighbor. Because I'm tired of suffering, fearing and running from nothing. Maybe no battle is coming. To be strong, you need not be battling something. Maybe the struggle in life is to try to learn how to live life without struggling. Maybe my fear of not knowing will change when I learn to be happy just wondering. Maybe I'll learn how to let go, and once and for all, I can hold on to something. Or maybe there's nothing, and all I can do is keep loving. Thank you. And the next piece goes like this. Oh, thank you so much. Save time, I'm gonna go right into the next piece. Thank you. So look, I go over the top and under the bottom, side to side, around the sides of slalom, back to back and front to front with falling, through and through to follow through, resolving, to and fro, the constant flow is calming, up and down and up and still evolving, far ahead and near behind recalling, outside in and inside out absolving. When I think of problems beyond solving, I may take a moment's grace for pausing. I remember problems long forgotten, but I am here and earth is still revolving. Almost all the gifts that I have gotten were here for me before I even thought them. I did not ask for stars, but still I got them. I did not make the sun, how small my offering. Mysteries that seem too deep for talking, but inside my mind repeats them often. And something happens, real life keeps on calling. So I keep a smile, keep on walking. Over the top and under the bottom, side to side, around the sides of slalom, back to back and front to front with all in, through and through to follow through resolving. Or maybe this is just my means of stalling, wanting something just to ease my wanting. But as long as my heart is beating, throbbing, I proceed with care, with peace and caution, hoping someday all mistakes will soften. Time will heal and may reveal what caused them. But as long as I have choice, I have no option. Errors are the only names I have to call them. But still I do not sink in wells I draw from. Spots in my reflection help me spot them. Birthmarks on my body since I got them. Yet if I had a map, I could not draw them. All these hairs are growing, hairs are falling. All these cells are shedding, some are bonding. My chest is heaving as the earth is rocking. Sleeping, watching over without watching. But people come and go and doors keep knocking. Clocks keep ticking, talking, ringing, stopping. Counting back to keep this world prolonging. But it's worth it just to see this morning dawning. Time for waking, washing, shaking, offing. Sounds of working, singing, neighbors talking. Sounds of chirping, playing, babies yawning. As we all wake up to another day in common. Peace and love. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, Massimo. Next up is Michelle DeLay.
Alright, boys, what's the crack? And girls and others and everyone. Happy Culture Night. I had to ask Shauna if I can do two as well. Is that still okay?
We're kind of like 2 within 4.
Two middies. I never did it before, like
3 usually is the limit, but it's squeeze 2 into 4.
2 into 4. Quick math, okay. Alright, well then I'm alright. Do you want the good news or the bad news? So first, what do you want? The news. Well, okay, we'll go good first. Oh yeah, so the reason I'm throwing in a second one is because I have some people here tonight. They are old friends, new neighbours, and they were very good to me this summer. I had a great time with them after I had a poor time. Hello? 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Okay, so this is the draft I wrote for them, and it's coming straight out of the drafts now just because they're here tonight. They live in a house called Oakville. They're the Oakville boys. Oakville's bedrock soaked in some rare breed of home. The oak sings to the ridge of the roof, its roots canyonize the drive. The 2 cars of the 5 boys swerve on its ridges, and that's just the entrance to the big red door, always swinging open to someone smiling and laughing halls in the garden so deep and wild that no one's even been to the back of it, where there's Cade, Mila, Dahna, species and odd jobs, all at different stages, like the birch sapling we planted in the clearing at the cliff over Sutton's, swimming in the rivers of Venice and Prague, wrestling with the Lee, becoming a poem about town, running barefoot on foreign cobbled streets with sirens and dog barks. Oakville boys, how'd you get so cinematic? He's gone off and I feel rotten. How'd we get so stale in the end? The early haze is long forgotten. Wish I could spend those days again. I'm strong, just not at the moment. I'll be alright eventually. I won't keep you long on the phone. I'll just try to get some sleep. Up on the dial tone. I'll roll a smoke and hardly blink. There's not much going on till I start to sting. Yeah, I'm good, just not at the moment. Just processing how I feel. Thank you. Happy Culture Night. Love you.
Thanks, Michelle. Next up is Cedric Bacond.
Oh, you're going up.
Up for that line. That line. You're going for it.
So this one is titled Ikebana, which is a Japanese art of flower arrangement, which is admirable mostly for its simplicity and its elegance. Ikebana. Those words were grown in their fields, slowly absorbing the suns of community, the rains of stories, the storms of histories. Admire the blossoms from the salty downpours, the radiance of joy piercing through the blankets of sorrows. Watch the heads colored from the ridges hidden in a bedrock broken by sweat and blood, sweetened by hope, aired by life and its countless waking dreamers. Chromatic patterns tell tales in nuances borrowed from the semantics. They will feed back as their leaves and petals can no longer sustain the breezes of time. Let me sit under a contextual canopy. I will compose for you my best arrangement yet. Buttercup bared out, with astute lips that I cut in stanzas, standing out on their own, together in a bouquet. I will leave this here for you to see, hopeful that you may find elegance in its simplicity.
Thank you very much, Cedric. Next up is Mags Creedon.
I'm trying to decide between an old chestnut in English or an Irish. I'll just do the English one, I guess. Spoken word intro, done in 3 minutes, please. Okay, a strawberry in the street, what a tasty little treat. Scurrying to cross the mall, no one deferred to cross at all. No breached land quarters, no breached carriage quarters. And there it lies in its dry but imperial gutter. And still it smiles and mutters with its smiles of sunny summers, saying, eat me or delete me. Leave my shoots and juice me. Goodbye to blackberry fields, from strawberry fields to a fast lane. So that's for the strawberry outside the imperial, and it goes into meet me at the fountain by the grand parade. This is for Joanne Gould, where once a merchant princes came for their Sunday promenade. We'll have a roasted coffee and a crema full of froth, and we'll climb the stairs to the bean and leaf, go urban sketching from the top. We'll paint a rainbow over Cork, bold against grey skies, and it will stand guard till it's dark, like the Berwick fountain where some young girl cries. Ooh. We'll spin a coloured wheel, a rainbow banner through the air, like Montbretius sparks in Fitzgerald Park. Dance in the fountain, rainbow spray, dance in the rainbow's fountain spray. Meet me at Electric Bar, where the larch tree saplings grow, where once the Vikings docked their boats, where the South Channel rivers flow. We'll have an avocado wrap, stretch the otters as they play, and we'll stretch in the grass by the cenotaph, and we'll, what's the rest of it? Stretch in the grass by the cenotaph, see the swans as they come our way, watch the swans as they fade away, and we'll paint a rainbow over Cork, bold against grey skies, and it will stand guard till it's dark, like the Berwick fountain where some young girl cries. We'll spin a coloured wheel, a rainbow banner through the sky, like Montbretia sparks in Fitzgerald Park, dance in the fountains, rainbow spray, dance in the rainbow's fountain spray, dance in the rainbow fountain spray.
Thank you very much, Max. Next up, I only have their first name, Aiden. Aiden? Carl Holden's friend? No? Did Carl have a friend called Aiden who wanted to go on the open mic? Okay, I'm going to leave you debate that silently whilst the next person goes on. Next up is Alexandra Toth. Woo! Yes, I do.
So this poem would be about kind of like what it means to me to be an artist, and kind of like the feelings that swirl in me when I get like an art block and how I bounce back from it. So this poem is called My Gem of Hands. Art is a magical beauty. It's mesmerizing to some, but unexplainable to others. A million feelings erupt from me, such pride, excitement, anger, sadness, like a cocktail of emotions. These gem of hands give me pride. My talent is unique. I know it is. It shines as brightly and as rarely as the northern lights, but this light of excitement turns dull in a heartbeat. These eyes now show anger, even sadness. How can I create such vivid images, but still feel like a failure? Why do I radiate such doubt when I know I am worthy of calling myself an artist? These negative, judgmental thoughts make me scream in silent agony. This agony resembles a demon, its dark whispers telling me to give up. I listen. I give in to its dark temptations. It's easier this way, is it not? Time flies by, and these gem of hands miss the shine of its gems. How can I win this treasure back? What if the demon reappears and buries me forever this time? I want an escape from reality. The world can be so dull at times. My creations were so vivid in comparison to this world. I remember now, art is my escape, and I need that escape again. Welcome back, my gem of hands.
Thank you very, very much, Alexandra. Adrian? Yes? No? Yeah.
Yeah, it's alright. I guess I'm going to improvise a couple of things that are not really connected, but I'm going to just try and connect them a little bit of kind of mythology and a little bit of... So, you know Cuchulainn? Huh? Huh? And so Cuchulainn she said that when Cuchulainn would go into battle, he would, if you were to mock him, and jeer him, and piss him off, it would be wise not to go near him. Because Cuchulainn, when he went into battle, he took on the shape of a hound. His head would twist and contort, one eye going deep into his head, the other extending out. And this was what was called the warrior's blow, the warp spasm, the Riestrad. And he would fell 10 warriors with one blow of the sword. And it is said that when Cuchulainn went to the warp spasm, the sky glowed red, a fiery red. But then, sometimes we need a fire. Sometimes we need the fire to dispense the shadow. The red would fade into gold, into yellow, into a glorious light. That light pouring down onto the ground, onto the ashes. And from the ashes, new life would spurt upwards and grow. Where are we going? We're going out there, going into that place where the life grows, where the rock and the soil beats with that pulse of life. Sometimes you need to dive deep into the shadow to know that pulse of life. Thanks.
Gonna make sure. Okay, great. Next up is Benjamin Burns.
Thank you. For the Moomins. This is called Anniversary, and it's a kind of Friday night poem, so maybe suitable. Is the microphone on? Oh, it is. Okay, it's hard to tell from here. I drank 13 bottles of Prosecco to celebrate it being Friday, the 13th. And I went all pink and dizzy in an extreme way, like those times when you've pushed yourself to keep spinning and spinning and the earth's tilted dangerously far free of balanced vision, and you've in a reeling heap in the pampas grass, your hair follicles start fizzing. Yes, I went that far. The stars stopped twinkling. Bad luck is an effervescent delirium that fizzles to an abrupt halt. Spindly-armed fate dandling black beetles and dream catchers across bony knees in a rainstorm. Me, semi-erect and crawling into the beauty spot on your left cheek to shelter from this nightmare's conclusion. Eons ago, moons and dead stars and eons. What is that sound? Woo! That's also true. What is that sound? I wondered. The first day I walked in to the foyer of the Granary Theatre. Do swifts haunt the rafters out of season? Is it disaffected stagehands launching screamers in the scene dock? Or a sound art installation in an upstairs studio? Have Shepherd Rizet tones broke loose to improvise swooping trajectories of their own? Do the military drop bombs through an endless sky, targeting innocent thespians? Is there a rainforest microclimate in the black box, complete with dripping leaves, tree frogs, howler monkeys, and a myriad of shimmering insects? Does a silent panther stalk the gantry? Are they readying themselves for the pants? Oh, that, said Roxana, introducing herself and offering me a glass of water. That's the sound of the fridge. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Ben. Next up is Richard.
Are stories off limits or is it all poems? What do you think? Are stories off limits or should I stick to poems? I was going to do no, you know what? I'll do a poem. I think just to be on the safe side. I was going to say, do you want a little short story or do you want a poem? One. There's time.
Short story.
Short story. Thanks, Ben. So, does anyone here drink tea? So tea is a very popular drink in Ireland at the moment, and it always has been. But when tea first came to Ireland, you couldn't go down to the shops and buy it like you can today. There was none of this Lyons versus Barry debate. You had to wait for the man to come knocking on the door selling tea. And it was on one such night as this, down in the Black Valley in Killarney, near Killarney. Do you know what that is? It's a desolate place if on caught on a stormy night, isn't it? And on one such night, the tea man got caught in a one-room shack mud cut for a young couple with a young baby. And such was the night that there was no way they could send the tea man back out into it. So they had to invite him in, and they fed him and they put him by the fire. And as he was by the fire, the young wife, she pulled a beautiful cake of bread out of the oven. And the aroma of the cake, it would have the teeth swimming in the back of your mouth. Oh my God. And the tea man's mouth opened and drool came out of it. And he looked and he went to reach for the tea, or for the cake. And the husband says, no, he'll wait till the morning like the rest of us. Sure, he'd only be ruining the cake if he takes a bite of it when it's hot. That was the end of it. I don't know what I knew. Mags, what's it like arguing with a cranky husband? Does it work very well? You don't? No? You don't be arguing with a cranky husband anyway. So that was the end of it. And the wife, she went and put the cake on the windowsill to cool down for the morning. And the storm, it kept on battering, and eventually it became very apparent that the tea man was going absolutely nowhere. So they decided they'd have to put him into the bed. The wife in the corner, the husband in the middle, and the tea man on the outside. In case they didn't get notions, you know? The tea man's tummy rumbling, he got on anyway. They crawled in, and the wind started battering and battering and battering. And the husband, he suffers from a condition that many of men would know about. I don't know, no men in this room, surely. He suffered from a condition known as frequency, which meant oftentimes in the night he had to go out and shed a tear for Parnell. So, in this single mud hut, there was no installation plumbing. He had to go out into the outhouse, and such was his jealousy that he had to take the wife with him. And you wouldn't mind once or twice going out in the middle of the night in the middle of a storm to watch your husband take a piss. But 3 or 4 times she kicked up an almighty fuss, would you believe? And she says, I won't go out, I won't have it. But the husband couldn't have the tea man lying next to the wife, so what he do, he picked up the crib. Every time he had to go to the toilet, he picked up the crib and he put it between the wife and the tea man. And that was that. There was nothing going to happen when there's a baby between 2 people anyway, I'll tell you that much. And out and in and out and in he went. And in the middle of the night, the wind picked up. And the wind blew and blew. And what did it do? But it blew the roof off the shed outside. And if there's one thing to tell you now, if you know the way you've got a headache and all of a sudden someone gives you a box in the jaw, you forget all about your head and you start thinking about the jaw. The husband, he ran out anyway to fix the roof in the shed. Sure, what else was he doing? And what did he forget? To put the cradle between the two. And the wife looked at that tea man with big hungry eyes and says, well, now is your chance. So the tea man got out of bed and took a big bite out of the cake.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah, for sure. Jesus, all we're missing is a fire and a bit of tea. Next up is Philip Spillane.
Thank you. So I was meant to do something else with this, but someone told me to do another poem with this. I stole it. Yeah, I know, right? That's culture right there. Happy culture night anyway. No, it's mine, don't worry. The spider's industrial age. To reach the moon, the spiders wove in rain clouds into 3 motorways that were lighter than air, dark as coal and inky like rubbish bags. A puffed up collection of fibred webs that umbrelled the sky pitch black. As these arachnids suffered from acrophiliae, so they built layers and 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 layers of cloudy layered heavens, stories and stories and stories and stories. The earth was a scaffold of stormy clouds that quaked in thunder and in anger. They were jointed by Ethernet-braided ladders which those scampers scampered up, 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 up. Till they came to that see-through barrier, that zone between sky and space, which those hungry height spiders could not bypass. So from the topmost floor, all those clouds collapsed like burst balloons, and oil black rain fell in bucket loads. Now, that was a climate change, a crash from an industrial age. The moon goes black to remember. The sky goes black and the spiders stay black. You people dig up that black jammed in the stones. You people smoke that black back into the night or spill it into the sea. To commemorate? Ha, no, the spiders don't say so. Because you people have been to the moon and back.
Thank you so much, Bill. Next up is JJF.
All right. So my first poem, I said I was a man of culture. But for this poem, we're going down to the baser instincts. Some of you may have heard this before. This poem is short. This poem is sad. And this poem is about sex. This poem is called Short Sad Sex Poem. We hadn't seen each other in some time. Yet you sent me a pretty risque text last week. Ping! God damn. And asked if I was fine. It's currently 3 a.m, and you do like a bit of late night light nicotine. So I light up a pair of cigarettes after sex. We each take a puff, slick with sweat. I see you blush and know that for you, the rush of regret comes next. And neither one of us came. And it's strange because all those years went by and we did and we didn't and we did and we didn't and we did and we didn't motherfucking change. But neither one of us came. So the unspoken question still hangs. What does come next? That went unanswered, and you took the next cab home. So this is it, my short, sad sex poem. My Insta's words by JJF. I got stickers for everybody. I got cards for everybody. Talk to me after the show.
You swipe right?
Swipe right. Swipe right.
Thank you, JJF. Next up is Keith Payne, please. Keith Payne? Is Keith Payne? Yes.
Keith Payne's name got on the list by the magic of Ovale, which is terribly magical. Okay, so I've just come from launching a book up in Mehalmara about building a currach. So I'll give you just a short section. That's a long poem that goes on for about 20 minutes, which I won't do for you here. So I'll give you just a couple of minutes worth, and if you just tweak at me when I'm done, I'll wrap it up. What I can remember of it. We stepped into a hazelwood. No, we didn't. You stepped into a hazelwood. Secateurs sharp, all eyes. The ground you loped on was soft underfoot, where you knelt and cut with bow saw, with bill hook. You at the head of flaming red, flickering in the hazel wood. A monkish sally, perhaps, this overing the waves with habit, candle, and twine. Still, though, you kept the hazel rods wet under a tarp and a few old tires. Your eyes peeled for the willow switch that rogue might slip in. Otherwise, your boat will bend and twist, will wisp. So now begin. With a draw knife in your hand and the hazel firmly fixed, draw the beveled edge towards you from about a hand's width. And peeling the green bark, you smooth the hoarse rasp of the shavings curling gathered on the floor. Meanwhile, across the yard, we lay the gunnels at our feet, but before you start, you make the carpenter's mark, a pig's tail, a chevron, a ribbon in the wind, and then hold up to the light the faithful marking gauge, measure and thumb it in, and draw it lightly towards you. Be careful, though, that you don't fall into the grain of the wood, so rein it in. And then lay the teeth of a tenon saw just inside the line and cut. And the transom of straight and close-grained silver fir or archangel spruce, mark and bore the mortise holes that will hold the bone-white ribs, and then cleave from the soft wood a halving joint to set the transom in. Oh, isn't it good, Norwegian wood? I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, Keith. It's actually my anniversary today. It's my 6th year anniversary with Ovale. Yeah. Culture night 6 years ago. I read my first poem here, and yeah, so I'll read another poem here this evening. I'm gonna leave it here because it's a bit late for me to be remembering things. There is a dance party club night in Dublin called Mother. I don't know if any of you have ever been to it. Yes, it's very good. There's very good music. It is a queer dance party, and at Electric Picnic they have a rave in the woods, and it's very good. And Cork currently doesn't have any place like that, so accidentally this has kind of become topical. But something kind of profound happened to me at Electric Picnic the year previous to this one at Mother, and this poem is about that. So I'll tell you a story, if you can lend me an ear. The year was 2022. Fresh out of a pandemic cocoon, everything felt a bit peculiar. For me, it was near 3 years earlier I had quit the drink, a miracle within itself. I used to love the set, but lost the run of myself. So kicked it. The right decision, I was sure of it. Till I arrived here, at Electric Picnic. My first festival sober. Felt like a witness of Jehovah roaming around teetotal. Seeing everyone wild and giddy made me a wee bit envious. Missing the permission slip that comes from a few sips, substances that encourage a dance without constant cognizance of what I'm doing with my hands, I began to think maybe some experiences just aren't the same without a drink. I was still enjoying it, don't get me wrong. But as the night went on, I was feeling a bit of malaise. About to head away, retire to my labba, when like the Pied Piper, it called to me. Mother. Do. A whisper in the woods, a siren's call of early 90s ballroom dance hall. Do. I whooshed through trees, dodging hipsters on ease, hopped over logs felled round young ones off their heads. Like a magnet, my feet flocked to the familiar beat until we found it. This nook in the forest, a Studio 54 Kaylee, go-go dancers, drag queens, sequins as far as the eye could see. People gleamed, radiant. The rain, it pelted, but they were dancing on to the DJ spinning Beyonce's new song. Without a further thought, I joined them. Propel myself into the crowd, no longer lost or out of place. I found my people, found my space. In a seance beneath the night sky, we communicate with the divine through the sounds of 909s. Then femme punk rock and Stevie Nicks, it alchemizes all the pent up shit I had been holding. And now I'm dancing, having a bop, moving more than I've done in yonks, a whirling dervish of disco. This feels almost spiritual. We vogue through Bardot, transcending the compression life lessons have imposed. The music is in my soul. And for the first time sober, I feel free. In a Donna Summer ecstasy. I feel love, I feel no pain. I'm filled with the spirit of Sinead. Sinead. Danu herself may well be raised, shifting shapes, a disco queen Maeve, a fairy, an R&B banshee. I am every woman, it is all in me. Then I stop being I and become the we, and everything feels alive and in technicolor, in a way I feared would never occur sober. Now the music is my wine and my cup runneth over. We stayed there dancing for hours. I don't know what the hell happened. It was magic. I left that forest, and my long-held belief that I needed to drink to have fun was gone. And from that moment on, I never longed for a drink again. Thanks very much. Anybody else? Thank you very much, Margaret. Anybody else for the open mic? The open mic closing. Angelique? Yes. Do please. Woo! Angelique Everett.
Some planned, but I was just whispering in other people's ears, my poems. Continuing the theme of sobriety. Every morning when I wake, you're there by my side, pouring me luxurious fluids from your spout so long and wide. I do not need any sugar, for you are the sweetest thing I've ever seen. First thing in the morning, I look to turn you on, coffee machine.
Woo! Very good. Nice one. Great stuff. Oh. So I believe one more? One more? No? You sure? John for a poem? No?
John Hort?
No.
John Hort.
No. Okay. We're running. Are we out? Oh. Do we have time? John? Great. Very good.
Every time I come to a poetry night, I'm like, I'm not going to read tonight. And tonight I was definitely like, I'm not going to fucking read tonight because I'm kind of half drunk and I'm also sleep deprived. So I'm definitely going to read it off my phone. I could like try it from memory and just see how it goes. I'm feeling a bit better. I think I'm sobering up. Give me 2 seconds. By the way, I'm a Freemason now. I sat in a throne. I think I'm your king, possibly. And the Quaker, yeah, I'm getting around. What can I say? Where do I look for this? 1 second. I just need to have it on this. No, that's the wrong one. Favorites, of course. Right, I'll do weightless memories. And I might remember it, or I might not. I stared at the sun too long. It burnt out my brain a bit. I'm not speaking. Can I pull this up? I'm not speaking metaphorically. It was something my therapist said to me. I was focused on forgiveness and letting go of the bad bits that were lodged in little crevices, snuck within the dark cliffs, down in the black pits and puddles of darkness. In my mind, I saw the moon reflecting, glowing, gleaming egg yolks. I thought I'd nick a jewel, twinkling on the ridges of ripples of forgiveness, from pebbles I dropped into lattices of sickness, up to their old business, sucking the life out of me. There's no point in complaining, nothing's ever easy. I just write some poetry in the hopes that it might save me. And to see if it's possible to sing something new into being. What if I could just be a melody of great seas, reaching for the love songs and moonbeams of gravity, weightless memories, rainbows of dust, and buried old identities. Nothing now but melodies and songs sung into me. Nothing now but moonbeams and weightless memories. I remembered it all. There you go. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Sean. And with that, we have actually unlocked a secret level to Ovale that not many people know about. But yes, we've done it. We have achieved it. After this, people can mosey on over to Arthur Mains, where people can socialise, etc., and continue the Ovale festivities, because as of now, they will be over, but not before we give a massive, big, huge round of applause once again to Leon Dunne, our wonderful guest speaker. Leon will be representing Ireland in the European Poetry Slam Championship in January in Antwerp, I believe. So follow him and keep up to date with that, because that is exciting. And big round of applause for Qarre, our wonderful other guest poet, and make sure to check out her work. Massive thank you to Alexandra and the Long Valley and everybody here, everybody at Culture Night. Paul Casey, thank you. Yourselves. Big round of applause for yourselves. Everybody who did the 5 words, everyone who did the open mic, everybody in the world, absolutely everybody. That's all, folks. Yes, that's everything. Did I forget anything? No. Right. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your culture night. There's fierce, strong culture going around, lads, so be careful. Be careful. Ratio. And join Ovale on the second Monday of October and every month from then.